parent involvement in education. So, the subtopic that we will be gonna tackle for this session is the importance of parents' involvement in the education of their children and the five-step partnership process. So, part one, questions to ask. Do you think your school or our school has a strong family community, school community partnership? Do your school or our school partners agree on what family involvement means? Do your school promotes high academic standards for all students, informing parents about what they are and how they can help their children reach them? Another, do your school or our school use a family school compact for all students and their families? Have you noticed any areas in which differences in student results seems to be connected to family involvement? Does your school or our school use data to evaluate and improve partnership for learning? Now, let's proceed to the research on family involvement. Why is family involvement so important in the education of their children? And what are the challenges that might faced for this type or for this kind of involvement? Family involvement and student achievement based on research. Predictors of student achievement not relies on income or social status. So there's no specific evidence that that the achievement or the student achievement or performance in school or in the academe has a strong relationship on the income or social status, but the extent to which the student's family is able to create a home environment that is encourages learner or learning, express high but not unrealistic expectation for their children's achievement and future careers, become involved in their children's education at the school and in the community. These things creates an impact to students' achievement. The mutual benefits of family involvement creates students with high grades, better attendance and homework completion, more positive attitude, higher graduation rate, and greater enrollment in college. While the school benefits as well when there is a good family involvement, and these are to improve teacher morale, higher ratings of teachers by parents, more support from families, and better reputations in the community. So we have this what we call the five-step partnership process. The first one is come together as a team. Second is identify and commit to shared responsibilities. Third, implement strategies for success. Fourth is evaluate the results of the partnership. And fifth, strengthen your partnership. This create the family school community partnership. And step one, come together as a team. So, what are the things that or strategies that you will be gonna do to come together as a team? So, we have this what we call team building strategies. First, plan for the whole school and community. Include as many participants as possible. Check up ideas to generate interest even in the early stages of planning. Reach out to parents and others who have not traditionally been connected to the school. More team building strategies. Anticipate and plan. Think ahead to the challenges you may face and plan potential solutions. Create a family school compact for all students to support shared responsibility. Be creative. Make sure your partnership and its activities reflect your school and its community. Choose a family framework of shared responsibility. That's step number two. The National PTA standards for parent family involvement programs includes students learning, communicating, parenting, volunteering, school decision making and advocacy, and collaborating with community. So we have this paradigm for a shared responsibility. So choose a framework of shared responsibility. For example, we have this framework family school compact framework. The first one is shared responsibility for learning. And then there is a shared responsibility for building capacity, volunteering training, and shared responsibility for communicating as stated in the corner of the triangle, which is actually a cycle that creates a family school community partnership. So for the first one, shared responsibility for learning and higher achievement. This set high standards and expectations, provide and support sound instruction, make schools safe and drug-free, apply modern technology. Also, times and locations convenient to families. Priority of time for teachers to communicate with families. Use of modern technology. Accommodation for non-English speaking families. With the shared responsibility for building capacity through volunteering and training, we have to provide teacher training on effective family involvement, help parents become better educators at home, provide training for tutors, and encourage volunteering. Implement strategies for success. So you need to address the needs of your school population and obtain and allocate resources. The new idea support family involvement. The idea now ensures that information provided by parents will be considered when evaluating a child for a disability. A team of qualified professionals and the parents of the child or children determine the child's eligibility for special education services. Parents participate in any group that makes a decision on the educational placements of their child. Bilingual education support family involvement. Bilingual education authorizes use of funds for parents' outreach and training activities, requires local educational agencies to inform parents of the benefits and nature of bilingual education programs, the reasons for selection of their child for potential enrollment. Measure and evaluate, that's step number 4. The power of performance measurement goes to what gets measured gets done. If you don't measure results, you can't tell success from failure. If you can't recognize failure, you can't correct it. If you can't see success, you can't reward it. And if you can't see success, you can't learn from it. So the data sources that needed are the school profiles, administrative records, surveys, focus groups, tracking studies. Asking the right questions for the teacher evaluation. So my child's teacher is accessible and responsive to me when I call or want to meet. So this is just a sample statement for a teacher evaluation form. The teacher makes clear what my child is expected to learn in this class. The teacher contacts me promptly with concerns about my child's academic or behavioral performance. So do your school do this to parents? Do you made a survey to evaluate the teacher or the school performance as well? More questions. As needed, the teacher and I develop a cooperative strategy to help my child. My child's teacher assigned clear and meaningful homework. The teacher shares my high expectation for my child's learning and behavior. Then collect a variety of survey data about what the data that has been graded by the respondents. So the parents of third graders who reported that they have rules that the child must follow about completing homework assignment versus the parent of third grader students rated high on completing homework assignment according to teachers. So this is an example of a survey, a collected data. Now, step 4, we are in this step 4, so setting performance standards. So we have the three methods for measuring performance. The first one is mark improvement over time. Marks the progress of doing better than before. Allow all schools to set and reach goals, no matter what their starting level of achievement. Requires having a baseline and comparing information over time. Benchmark against the best, that's the second one. So, with school that serve children from families with similar characteristics, for example, similar income level, with schools with similar size, with schools located in similar settings like rural, urban, or suburban. Set an absolute performance standard. So this one indicates whether your school is doing as well as or better than your desired level of performance. Now, lesson for using data. Use the process to bring educators and community members together. Use data to focus attention on real problems. Beware of the picture painted in a single stroke. Beware of data that masks achievement gaps. Report local data strategically. Double check data. Keep data simple but exciting. This aggregate for details. So this is an example of parents rate their third year child's school. So the violet one is the or the purple I think is well above average. So the pink one is above average, the green color is average, and the blue color is below average. So that is school poverty concentration. So this is an example of a bar graph about the parents rate their child their third grade child's school. So improve and strengthen the partnership. So how can we do this? Despite of all those problems. So we have the improvement needs, your school's performance versus the high standards. So lesson learned, there's no one size fits all approach to partnership. Training and staff development is an essential investment. Communication is the foundation of effective partnership, and flexibility and diversity are key. Another is projects need to take advantage of the training, assistance, and funding offered by sources external to school. Changes takes time. Projects need to regularly assess the effects of the partnership using multiple indicators. Now, what do you think is the benefit of this the parent involvement in school? More positive attitudes toward school, higher achievement, better attendance, and more homework completed consistently for the young children or for the students, higher graduation rates and enrollment rates in post secondary education, and better school to attend. What will be the benefits of the parents when they do this? Greater knowledge of education programs and how school works, knowledge of how to be more supportive of children, greater confidence about ways to help children learn, more positive view of teachers, and greater empowerment. What do you think now is the benefit of parent involvement for school staff? So greater teaching effectiveness, higher expectation of students, increased ability to understand family views and cultures, greater appreciation of parents, volunteers, and improve morale. And what will be the benefits of the community when it comes to parents' involvement in school? Greater strength, greater impact of services through comprehensive integrated approach, increased access to services for families. The 10 truths of parents' involvement. All parents have hopes and goals for their children. That's true. They differ in how they support their children's effort to achieve those goals. The home is one of the several areas that simultaneously influence a child. The school must work with people in the other areas for the child's benefit. The parents is the central contributor to the child's education. Schools can either ignore this fact or recognize the potential of the parents. Parent involvement must be a legitimate element of education. It deserves equal emphasis with elements such as program improvement and evaluation. Parents' involvement is a process, not a program of activities. It requires ongoing energy and effort. Parents' involvement requires a vision, policy, and framework. A consensus of understanding is important. Parents' interaction with their own children is the cornerstone of parents' involvement. A program must recognize the value of diversity and the difficulty of this role. Most barriers to parents' involvement are found within school practices. They are not found with parents. Any parent can be hard to reach. Parents must be identified and approach individually. They are not defined by gender, ethnicity, family situation, education, or income. Successful parent involvement nurtures relationships and partnerships. It strengthens bonds between home and school, parent and teacher, parent and school and community. What are now the barriers to the parents' involvement in the education of their child? This is the lack of a school environment that supports parent family involvement, school practices that do not accommodate the diversity of family needs, child care's constraints, families' past negative experiences with school and or feelings of uncertainty about treating on a school territory. Culture differences, language barriers, attitudes towards professionals, lack of knowledge of the American education system, primacy of basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter take precedence over educational needs. Feelings of inadequacy associated with difference income or in income or education, safety, especially in the inner city school neighborhoods, uncertainty about what to do, and lack of time. Okay, so thank you very much. So that's all about the different importance of parents' involvement and the 5 steps partnership process. So these topics highlights the parents or the importance of parents' involvement in education of their children. I hope you learned something for this or from this video. With that, thank you very much for your listening.